Don't stop it now.
But I thought you were asking the question.
Yeah, but
It's called a cliffhanger. Relax.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Unorthodox reaction.
Unorthodox intro. Welcome back, guys. We are. How predictable you are.
Carry on.
You need to switch it up.
Carry on. No, finish the sentence.
No, I will.
Finish.
Where were we again?
Hmm?
We are back again.
No.
What do you normally say?
I was unpredictable.
Let's try again.
Unorthodox reactions.
Unorthodox intros. Welcome back, guys. We are.
No.
What'd you say?
No, I'm predictable, innit? I thought so.
Say it.
Welcome back, guys, to another
Ah! You liar. You don't say that.
Yes, I do.
Shut up, mate. Anyways, you're too easy, man. My item of the day is
Today we are going to be watching a story recap.
No, you're meant to bring your item of the day.
Video is humans find a dimension into the comic world.
This is not what we
and
do.
are seduced by
Sorry, guys. If you guys are new here,
characters.
this is not what we do.
Anyway,
my item of the day.
Item of the day today is.
I don't know if you can. They can't see anything because of the camera and the light. For kids that don't know what this is,
stop showing them.
I'm showing them. I'm showing them. What do you mean? Do you know what this is?
No.
This is what you do, right?
It's banned in every country.
It's not. This is what you use. Man. Why are you? That's not where the camera is, mate.
There you go.
Thank you. Yeah. This is what I do. Sometimes I drink it. So for all you kids out there, make sure you taste this. It's quite good. I'm sorry. Don't taste it.
My item of the day is battery. Let's get into
can you give
your item of the day introduction? Just make me not care anymore by the time you finish. You're okay, rude. I don't care anymore.
You need the energy. You need the same energy.
Without further ado, let's get right into the video.
I try harder.
You try too hard. Did you problem?
I don't.
I don't try harder. Recapped. Today, I'm going to explain an animation, comedy, and fantasy film called Cool World. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care.
In 1945, a military plane arrives in Las Vegas to reunite World War II veterans with their families. As the civilians excitedly greet the soldiers, Mrs. Harris searches the crowd for her son, Frank. Not long, she sees Frank
I know him.
walking toward her. Frank smiles and greets his mother with a warm hug. When Frank gets home, he surprises his mother with a motorbike he won in a poker game in Italy. Frank decides to take his mother on a joy ride in his new motorcycle. As they approach an intersection, a drunk driver hits them with his vehicle. Frank survives the collision, but it gives him a war flashback. Soon, Frank sees his mother lying dead on the ground. When the police and ambulance arrive, Frank still seems disoriented. Frank tries to stop the paramedics from taking his mother's body away, but he suddenly gets transported to a strange dimension.
What?
A doodle named Doc Vincent Whiskers stares at the portal in confusion and tells Frank that his spike is supposed to bring him to the real world instead of bringing Frank into theirs. Whiskers reveals that Frank traveled to a place called Cool World. Frank thinks he's just imagining them, so Whiskers assures Frank that he and his associates are real, and he's been looking for a way to travel to the real world for a long time. After introducing himself, Whiskers hints that Frank could watch over Cool World while he explores the other dimension. Decades later, cartoonist Jack Deeps sketches an alluring character named Hollywood in prison. He tells the doodle that he's finally leaving prison the next day, and he wouldn't have made it without her. Suddenly, Holly emerges from the paper and entices Jack to come to her. Before long, Jack finds himself falling into the world of...
You know what? That would be messed up. If they go back, they might think he escaped prison. So he's probably gonna end up spending probably the rest of his life in prison because they're gonna be like,
because he was
gonna leave the next day, but now he disappeared.
Oh, that's true.
When he lands, he sees Holly dancing provocatively in front of him.
That
Jack reaches out to touch
provocative,
Holly,
so.
but he suddenly gets pulled back into the real world. Frank, now a detective in Cool World, visits Holly at home to investigate a rumor that annoyed, a slang that doodles use to refer to humans, was at the club the previous night to see her. Holly contends that the incident was unexceptional and notes that it was just a mind slip. Holly then shows Frank her small collection of memorabilia of Las Vegas. She tells him about a doodle named Vegas Vinny, who supposedly crossed over to the real world and became the owner of the Union Plaza Hotel. Frank, however, asserts that Vegas Vinny's exploits are just stories that doodle parents tell their children. Holly argues that the stories could be true because Frank successfully crossed over to Cool World. She asks Frank for help to get to the other dimension, but Frank tells her that there will be no one crossing
That's
over as
mad
long as he's
rude.
around. Holly desires to become annoyed because she wants to feel like they do when they make love. When she tells Frank that she will ask Jack for help in crossing over, Frank warns Holly of the consequences of going ahead with her plan. Jack soon leaves prison and returns to his home in Las Vegas.
Okay.
When he stops by a comic book shop that night, the clerk recognizes him as the creator of the Cool World comic book and tells him that his work inspired many people. As he signs autographs for his fans, a man taunts him by asking if he would write a comic book about the time he murdered a man after finding him in bed with his wife.
What?
Later at home, Jack suddenly gets transported into Cool World after hearing Holly call out to him. Meanwhile, a bunny wins a dice game against Slash, one of Holly's goons. However, Slash cheats and threatens to kill the bunny if he doesn't pay. The bunny escapes when Slash is distracted by Jack's arrival. Slash and his cohorts harass Jack and tell him that he's in Cool World because he lost his mind. Soon, Holly arrives and welcomes him to the world of Doodles. As Jack stares at Holly in amazement, he surmises that he can erase her since he created her, but Holly is confident that Jack wouldn't do it because he wants to be with her. The bunny soon reports Slash to the police for cheating on dice.
Snitch.
Would you hit?
Hell no. It'd be hella weird.
So the cops go after him. Back on the streets, Holly assures Jack that he's not dreaming by burning his hand.
And
with a
she
cigarette.
smokes.
Not long,
No, she
Holly
doesn't.
hears
She
the
just
police sirens,
burnt his
so she
hand.
flees with Jack and her goons in her car. The cops chase after them, so Slash distracts them by urinating on them.
Oh,
Holly
wow.
loses the police after they collide with a train. Elsewhere,
R.I.P.
Frank
to
takes
them.
his girlfriend, Lynette, out on a date.
Frank
However,
living his best
partner,
life.
Niels, informs him that Jack is in Cool World with Holly. Frank realizes that Jack did not cross over from a dream, so he decides to postpone their date and find Holly.
So wait, why is he allowed to be here and no one else is allowed
The guy
to be
gave
here?
him permission to stay. The guy who invented the machine. It said that.
Is
at
the guy,
beginning.
yeah, but is the guy not back yet? So is he like in charge of Cool World
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
Okay.
When Holly and Jack arrive at the club, Frank is already waiting for them. Frank immediately confronts Jack and takes his fountain pen. Jack is perplexed to see Frank because he is not one of his creations. He explains that he draws Cool World from his visions, but Frank contends it can exist without him. Frank notes that the fountain pen can be dangerous in Cool World. He demonstrates it by using it to absorb a beverage and shoot it into Nail's mouth. Frank then tells Jack that it's against the law for Noids to make love with Doodles. Holly has been seducing every Noid she meets, but no one is crazy enough to get involved with her. Frank returns Jack's fountain
Yeah,
pen
but
and tells him to
why does he have a girlfriend?
Doesn't mean he makes love to her.
So he's been there for like 40 years, mate.
I don't think it's been there that long.
Yeah, because it started in 1945, and then he took his mom out, and then now it's 1990
I don't
something.
think he was there since the founding of Cool World.
No, but he went in 1945, right? That's when he went in, because he had this car crash in 1945.
Maybe I'm just not paying attention.
And then look, and then it shows here they fast forward. Wait, sorry, lads. I'm just trying to. Oh, it doesn't show.
No,
We
it
can't see.
doesn't.
But they did fast forward to 1990 something now, and he's still in there.
I don't know. Take it up with him.
leave. Not long, Jack finds himself back in the real world. When Frank goes home, he asks Lynette.
So how are they able to travel to this world? Because I think one way that he says that he entered was that in their dreams they're able to travel to because they think they're dreaming.
Yeah.
But how are they able to travel to this place in real world? Like he obviously was able to do it because of the guy's invention.
Yeah.
That's why he's still stable.
Yeah,
and
but the
there
guy is able
as
to
long
do it
as he
because
is.
he's the person, he's the creator.
Yeah, but how?
Because it's in his imagination. It's like when they're dreaming, but he created it, so it's in his brain. He drew all
She
of them.
heard something about Holly, but Lynette tells him that she doesn't pay attention to anything Holly does. Lynette kisses Frank to help him relax, but Frank stops her because he can't make love to her. Lynette asks Frank if he ever thought about going back to the real world to do it, but Frank doesn't have anyone like Lynette there. Lynette tells Frank to pretend to make love to her, but Nails interrupts them. That night, Jack returns to Cool World after hearing Holly's voice.
Pretend to
He
make
ends
love
up
to
on
her.
a stage where he comes across Holly's goons. Frank and Nails go to Holly's apartment, but the doodle door wouldn't let them in, so they climb up through the window. Upon reaching the apartment, Frank warns Holly to stay away from Jack. Holly tells Frank that she's annoyed when she sees him because he can return to the real world, but he wouldn't do it because he's afraid. Soon, Slash and the goons take Jack to Holly's apartment. The door notes that Jack has an appointment, so it allows him to go in, but not Holly's goons. When Jack reaches Holly's apartment, she immediately seduces him. Jack expresses his reluctance to sleep with her because of Frank's warning, but Holly convinces him to break the rules. Outside
Does he
the
become a
apartment,
doodle as
Slash
well?
and the goons start stacking up objects so that they can watch Holly and Jack through the window. After making love, Holly turns into annoyed. Meanwhile, Frank goes to the club where Lynette works to make up for postponing their
Does
date.
he turn into a
Later
thing
on-
then? Don't stop it now.
But I thought you were asking a question.
Yeah, but
It's called a cliffhanger. Relax.
Don't do that. Let's see you guys next.
Sparks calls Nails to tell him that Holly and Jack made love and they're about to cross over to the real world. Nails immediately calls Frank but decides not to tell him what happened upon learning that he's enjoying his time with Lynette. Back in the apartment, Holly looks at herself in the mirror in astonishment. As she prepares to leave for the real world, Jack suggests staying in Cool World instead. However,
You can't do that.
Holly wants to experience everything in the real world with him. As Holly embraces him, she steals Jack's fountain pen and hides it in her sleeve. While Holly says goodbye to her goons, Nails arrives to stop her from leaving, but Holly takes out the fountain pen and uses it to absorb Nails. Holly then returns to her apartment to tell Jack that she's ready to
Yeah,
leave
because
Cool
the
World.
ink.
Soon, Jack finds himself in his house with Holly. His neighbor, Jennifer Malley, and her mother, Isabel, hear the disturbance caused by Jack's arrival, so they investigate. When they enter his house, Jack introduces them to Holly, who behaves strangely because it's her first time in the real world. They soon leave after seeing that nothing is wrong with Jack. In Cool World, Frank learns about his partner's disappearance, so he meets with Sparks and investigates the last place Nails was seen. Frank holds Jack responsible, but Sparks discloses that Holly was the one who trapped Nails in the fountain pen. He then tells Frank that Holly turned into annoyed after sleeping with Jack. When Jack takes Holly to a bar, she can't help but gawk at the men in the room. Not long, Holly steps on the stage and asks a man to make love to her.
Oh,
Jack yells out
okay.
that Holly is with him to keep other men away from her, but a bouncer throws him out of the bar. In his frustration, Jack grabs the bouncer's face and pushes him away. Jack notices a strange light coming out of his hand when he calms down.
Can he turn them
The
into
light soon
annoyed?
disappears, but he turns into a
Oh, I think you're right. I think he is turning into annoyed.
doodle momentarily while attempting to get inside his car. Inside the
Why
bar,
was he fat?
Holly performs a seductive song to captivate the men. In Cool World, Frank prepares to cross over to confront Holly and Jack. Lynette fears Frank will leave her, so Frank tells her that he's not enthusiastic about crossing over. He doesn't want to return to the real world because of loneliness and fear of death, but he has to get Holly back because she could destroy both the real world and the cool world. Holly starts switching between her doodle form and her human body while performing on stage,
Again,
so she immediately
that's
leaves
not what
the
she
bar
looks
to
like
find
before.
Jack. She asks
Yeah.
Jack what's happening, but Jack is just as confused as she is. Soon, Frank kisses Lynette goodbye to find Holly. As he crosses over, Frank remembers the day that his mother died. On the road, Jack drives erratically as he abruptly switches from doodle to human. Holly suddenly remembers an artifact called the Spike of Power and tells Jack that it could heal her. She notes that Vegas Vinny put the spike on top of a casino. Holly wants to find it, but Jack doubts that the spike exists. Holly is determined to find it, so she kicks Jack in the face and grabs the wheel before throwing him out of the car. Soon, Frank
How does she know how to drive?
Yeah, she's been a doodle, mate. She can't do that.
reaches the real world and finds himself in Jack's house. When Jack arrives, Frank criticizes him for ignoring his advice and giving in to his urges. Frank is alarmed to see Jack switching from a human to a doodle. Jack points out that it's happening to Holly too. Jennifer suddenly barges in to check on Jack because she saw flickering lights in the house a few moments ago. Jack
Is she in love
discloses
with him
that
or
Holly
something?
is
What's
searching
up
for
with
the
him?
Union Plaza to find Vinny.
Yeah.
Since Holly took Jack's car, Frank asks Jennifer to drive them to the hotel using her mom's car. When Holly arrives at the hotel, she tells the valet that she's there to meet Vinny. But the valet claims that there's no one there by that name, so Holly goes inside the casino to ask the gamblers. Frank tells Jennifer and Jack that Vegas Vinny is based on the doctor he met when he crossed over to Cool World.
Oh, yeah.
Not long after he crossed over, he and the doctor mapped out the tunnels between the real world and Cool World. They soon realized that the tunnels could disrupt the balance and destroy both universes. Holly soon gets thrown out of the casino because she has no money. Not long, a small
freezing?
man in a trench coat
That's
and a
him.
hat approaches her and sees her switching from a doodle back to a human. When he tells Holly that she won't find what she's looking for at the hotel, she gets suspicious that he knows something about her. Holly grabs the man and shakes him repeatedly to compel him to disclose everything he knows. When he falls out of the trench coat, Holly discovers that the man is a doodle. The man tells Holly that he's known as Dr. Whiskers back in Cool World. He once touched the spike of power, but he couldn't hold on to it. Whiskers advises Holly against touching the spike, but she's convinced that it can make her real, so she takes out the fountain pen and tries to attack him. As Whiskers struggle to get away from her, Frank, Jack, and Jennifer arrive. Holly soon pricks Whiskers with the pen, causing him to break into pieces. Holly runs to the hotel's rear entrance to get to the rooftop. Jack tries to chase her, but Frank convinces him to stay behind to help Whiskers. Frank chases after Holly on his own and catches up as they get close to the rooftop. Frank grabs Holly's jacket, but he staggers over the railing of the stairs when Holly takes it off. He manages to hang on to the railing even though Holly pushes him down. As Holly starts to switch between her human and doodle form, she enters a hotel room through the wall. When Frank enters the room, she tries to go through another wall, but she bounces off because she's not transformed into a doodle. On the street, Jennifer and Jack put Whiskers back together. At that exact moment, Holly tries to reach the spike through the balcony. She soon realizes that she...
Bro, at this point, let her take it. I don't think she's going to be able to hold on to the power anyway. It's going to destroy her.
How would you know about the power of the spike?
If the scientist guy couldn't do it, what makes her think she could do it?
Because she's powerful. She's an independent woman. She's strong.
Can't reach the top, so she asks Frank for help. When Frank reaches her, Holly pushes him off the balcony as she turns into a doodle.
No.
Jennifer and Whiskers scream upon seeing Frank fall to his death. The fountain pen falls out of Holly's sleeve and lands on the sidewalk not far from Frank.
Oh, well, his partner's going to come out.
Holly continues climbing until she reaches the rooftop. Whiskers tell Jack that it's time to correct his mistake, so when Jack starts turning to a doodle, he uses his elongated hands to reach the rooftop. Jack gets to the roof, but he isn't able to stop Holly from grabbing the spike. Ghastly doodles emerge after Holly pulls the spike out of its place. When Jack reaches Holly, he suddenly transforms into a doodle of a superhero. Holly, who is also turned back into her original doodle form, doesn't want anything to do with him, so she kicks him in the groin. As Holly flees with other monstrous doodles, Jack sees the spike falling from the top of the building, so he catches it with his feet. Soon, the doodles begin terrorizing gamblers and pedestrians. People start turning into cartoons the moment the doodles possess them. Jack attempts to plug the portal with the spike, but the doodles do everything to stop him. Soon, Nails emerges from the fountain pen and finds Frank's dead body. Above them, Jack struggles to fight against the doodles as he attempts to plug the hole. Holly arrives and seduces him. She tries to convince Jack to give her the spike so they can stay in the real world, but Jack realizes that she's tricking him. Jack runs on top of floating doodles and plunges to the hotel to put the spike back in its place. Not long, every doodle that came out of the portal gets pulled back into Cool World. Everything returns to normal in the real world, but Jennifer gets concerned when she realizes Jack has disappeared. Whiskers comforts her by noting that Jack might still be alive because the spike could have protected him. Soon, Whiskers and Nails return to Cool World to take Frank's body back to Lynette. Upon seeing Frank's body, Lynette weeps in anguish. Nails tells Lynette that Holly pushed him off a building. When Nails reveals that Holly was a doodle when she killed Frank, Lynette reminds him that Noids turn into doodles in Cool World after they get killed by other doodles. Not long, Frank turns into a doodle and comes back to life. Later that evening, Lynette flirts with Frank as she prepares to make love to him. Nails suddenly interrupts them and tells Frank
I'm throwing that guy out.
But he flees when Lynette starts throwing kitchenware at him. Elsewhere in Cool World, Jack starts making plans to spend the rest of his life with Holly.
Leave her alone, bro.
Holly is not excited about the idea because she is still miffed that she never became real. Subscribe to watch more videos.
I don't understand why she wants to be real anyway. Being real is overrated.
Being a doodle is so cool.
Bro, I think we barely even like interacted with them guys.
No, we did.
No, we didn't.
No.
But we hope you guys enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. That was very
interact with them.
Intriguing, interesting.
Didn't we speak about
It kind of makes you think like okay.
It would be cool to be animated.
Question for people in the comments, what one cartoon character would you want to see in real life?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something else. What turn into like
Anyways, my question still stands.
What about you? What cartoon would you want to see?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if it was anime, I'd be able to like name a character right away. But cartoon is a bit difficult because I don't really care about cartoon characters.
Wow.
I mean, if I had to, I'd probably go for like
Bugs Bunny. He's a cool lad. I like him. He's real cool.
Archer, maybe? Lana.
Yeah. That's not a cartoon.
Yes, it is.
That's anime.
It's animation.
It's anime.
It's animation. It's the cartoon.
Oh, Archer. No, he's a little. He's
not Archer himself. Lana.
Oh, you want Lana instead?
Yeah.
I want Archer, and then they can do it in front of us. I'm joking.
I'm not involved. Don't touch me, bro.
I'm joking. They don't do that.
Anyway, guys, we hope you guys enjoyed that. As I said before, like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, or the
Stay
good stuff.
protected.
Comment, reactions, suggestions below. And we shall see you in the next one.
Don't close out.
If you still with us, we appreciate you. If you're no longer with us, we appreciate you.
We appreciate you regardless.
And all the stupidness that he says. And in a bit.